chance to change his mind now. It is too late. He's up there.
It's going down.
I make it 7.5 minutes to go. Welcome, Philip.
Hello to you.
Good to see
Hello.
you. Now, I understand we've got a phoned question come in.
Lindsay, hello to you in Stratford in London. You say, is there an age limit to asking a growing pains question? The answer to that is no, you're old enough, even up to 16. Whatever it is you want to write. There's no lower age limit, so whatever the question is, please send it to me.
Up to
16.
the age of 16,
Yeah.
OK. And I'll be giving the address, of course, at the end of the item. Let's get straight on with our first letter. Dear Growing Pains, my mum and dad have been separated for about a year. What happened was, my mum met a man at her work and then bought a flat together with him. I can't see any reason for my mum and dad separating. Please, could you tell me a way for them to get back together again?
Well, of course, you're sad that your mum and dad have split up. From your point of view, they ought to be together. When you were born, that's how life made sense, isn't it? The difficulty is that, I mean, you think you'd like to have them back together again, and you can't always have what you want. I think what you're almost saying is that the split is sort of inside you, and the answer is to kind of sort of magic your parents back together again, then you'd feel better. I don't think that's the only way that you can actually overcome this problem. I think you can mend your broken heart by letting out those sad feelings inside. And what I'd say to you is that it is, instead of trying to rescue mum and dad, that's not really your job, because you're not a marriage counsellor, are you? I think you need someone to listen to you rather than you having to do all this work and being the very grown-up person. Now, you could talk to mum or dad or granny or an aunt or a best friend, but try and tell the story of this last horrible year that you've been through to somebody else, to get the inside on the outside. And that's how you're going to start to feel better, because I'm sure you almost feel powerless to deal with the adults, but you can actually deal with yourself. Good luck with it.
Yeah, good luck. Dear Philip, I recently had a death in my family. It was my grandma. I loved her very much. It wasn't a sudden death. I think my family knew she was going to die, but she died in hospital just before Christmas in 1991. I was asked about 3 times if I wanted to see her, but my mum said I couldn't once she died. I only wish I'd argued with my mum about seeing her. I can't take Grandma off my mind. Please help. This is something a lot of people want to know about, whether to see somebody once they've died.
Well, I think before she got, to the point where she was going to die, you were in two minds about seeing somebody who was very ill, whom you loved, because you're worried about being really upset. And then when you sort of got yourself together to do it, it was too late. Your parents wouldn't let you. And this seems like a very, very bad way to end the relationship with your granny. It's always, always difficult facing a death, but when you haven't been able to say goodbye properly, then you end up feeling very guilty, and you end up wondering whether it was the last thought in somebody's mind was of you almost rejecting them. Now, I think that we do the best we can in these situations. Anybody could understand that you would hesitate to go to the hospital. It's all right. And you can still look after the situation. Maybe what you need to do is hear yourself a little bit. You perhaps get a photo of Granny out, or even if you can face it, go to the graveside and have a little ceremony for yourself and say something like, I really did love you. I really do love you. I miss you. And say the things that I'm sure Granny knew how you felt, but I think you need to say it out loud. And if you want to, you can even say sorry. That might help as well. And good luck with it.
We do actually have a bereavement fact sheet, which again I'll give you the address for at the end of the item. Next letter starts, I'm in love with this boy at school and I sent him a Valentine's card along with my best friends as a disguise for me. Now he's guessed it's from us and had a little laugh and joke about it. But he's asked my best friend out and she said yes, she knows how strongly I feel about him and how I've liked him for ages, but she's still done this to me. It really hurts. I'm so upset and I've cried so much. Please give me some advice.
It really hurts, doesn't it? And the only thing you can do is say so, because you can't force this boy to undo what he's doing, and you can't get your friend to back off. You can't make the people do this. What you can do is stand up for 3 feelings. You have a sense of love, you have a sense of disappointment, and you have a sense of betrayal. And I think you've got to say something about that. If it's any consolation, I'm sure your best friend didn't do this deliberately to you. She did it for herself. It feels like she did it to you. And if you can actually make a few waves and say how upset you feel, then it's possible she might even back off. I'm not sure, but she might back off, but at the very least she might apologise to you. You have to consider whether you're going to be best friends, but You open up and you say what it did to you. And that way you can get in some kind of balance again and face the future and tomorrow.
Dear Sarah and Philip, I'd like your advice. My friend is 14 and has got anorexia. She's being very stupid because she wants to die. So she puts ink in a cup with a very small amount of water and then she drinks it. She also swallows pen cartridges. I'm very worried about her because I'm scared she'll die. When she drinks the ink, does it go into her bloodstream and will it poison her blood? Also, she doesn't eat hardly anything at all. Please, please, could you tell me anything about it? I'm so worried and I don't want to see her in a coma or even worse. Thank you very much. I'm also 14. What can I do?
Well, I suppose you can try and find out why she's so unhappy and why she's so disturbed. The ink, it contains 0.5% of carbolic acid and 0.5% of ethylene. It is classified, quote, as practically non-poisonous, but if you drink it, it can inflame your mouth and your esophagus and give you a nasty tummy ache. And it's very bad for very small children, but it's not, in that sense, going to be poisonous to her. The cartridges, well, nobody can digest polythene, and that, again, can... What I'm really saying is that although she's not going to go into a coma from this, it's self-destructive behaviour. You're worried, I'm worried with you. How to tackle her? I mean, what's going on is that she probably feels very unhappy about herself. She probably feels very criticised, very unimportant, unvalued, and I guess something has really happened to her, something rather bad. And you are on the spot. You're the sort of counsellor in the situation. The best thing you can do is to try and be a friend without getting yourself to feel too helpless. She's playing a sort of game with you. She's saying, watch me hurt myself. And instead of saying to her, eat or stop drinking ink, which we all want her to, we all want that changed. But instead of saying that, if you can say, you seem so unhappy and miserable, tell me about it. And when she can unburden a little bit on you, and I know this is a pressure on you, maybe then you can say, you sound so depressed. There are people who can help. Will you please, I'll go with you if you like, to the doctor or something like that. Let's try and get you some help. And if you're in danger, if you're really afraid of someone or something, there are other adults who can actually stand by you and help you with that. And that's what I believe, and that's what you can try and make her believe. Now, I say, this is putting a lot on you. But you are involved already and you feel you'd like to help, and that's the way forward. Going to the doctor to talk about depression and then also about the eating problem, because although the ink won't put her into a coma, eventually if you stop eating, then you can really seriously hurt yourself if you get your weight below, 6.5 stone or something like that. Thank you for writing and thank you for caring.
Last letter now, Philip. I have a 2-night school trip coming up and I was asking my mum to let me go. Now she has... I'm beginning to get second thoughts. What should I do?
Oh, it's common. Whenever you're faced with something new like that, you're going to have these sorts of thoughts. So talk it through and try and work out what's going to be involved. Now, can you phone home from this place? Can you take your teddy bear? If you do that, I'm sure you're going to be all right. You get some confidence from working it out and practicing in advance.
Philip, thanks very much for this time.
Well, there's some very important
Back
things.
in a few weeks' time,
yes?
Now, that all-important address, if you have a problem that you think Philip can help you with, write to us at Growing Pains, Going Live, P.O. Box 8181, London, W12 7SE.